Go ahead. Okay. Let's call the Pipestone City Council meeting for February 17th to order, please. Could I have a roll call?
Mayor Delaney.
Here.
Councilmember Schmidt.
Here.
Councilmember Thompson.
Here.
Councilmember Swanson. Councilmember Colbeck.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. If you're able, please rise for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the agenda. Is there any additions, changes, or deletions to our agenda? I have none. Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say no, and motion carries. The consent agenda, that contains the February 2nd, 2026 special meeting minutes, the February 2nd, 2026 regular meeting minutes, the payment of claims, the listing of bills, and the January 2026 financial report. I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move we approve the consent.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Any questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no, and motion carries. Community concerns is next. Do we have anyone signed in for community concerns,
There
Stephanie?
is no one signed in.
Okay, all right, we'll move on to legal. That's ordinance number 171 4th series, and that was introduced at our last meeting. And that is up for a motion to approve the amendments to that ordinance. That's regarding the administration of city staff. And we'll have to have a roll call for that. Roll call vote.
Do we have to make a motion?
Right, so I'd entertain a motion to approve ordinance 171 4th series.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion, questions, comments? And what we're doing is we're updating that ordinance and giving the city administrator some authority there to work with, and also updating the personnel committee, making sure that's part of it too, correct?
Correct.
Yep, so, okay. Go ahead with your roll call.
All right, Mayor Delaney.
I will vote in favor of that, yes.
Okay, Councilmember Schmidt.
Yes.
Councilmember Thompson.
Yes.
Councilmember Colbeck.
Yes.
All right, motion passed.
And that is a 2/3 majority, so that carries, okay. Engineering, Travis, do you have anything for us in engineering? Don't have anything on the agenda, so.
No, hoping to know sometime in the near future when the Safe Routes to School project will start, but with the
Yeah.
fluctuations in temps, we don't have a start date yet,
Okay,
so hopefully soon.
yeah, that would be great to get that going. New business, community concern response, and Donna Morris is on the agenda. Is Donna here today?
I do not see her.
Okay, so a question came up through Donna about a overdue bill on her rental property, and the balance was $544.66. Yeah, Donna's take on it was that she had notified the city to stop, to actually turn the water off on her renter, but her renter had an agreement with the city and was making payments, or had an agreement to make payments. And so then it's the city policy not to turn the water off when there is an attempt to pay those payments, even though they're late. The last thing you want to do is shut someone's water off. I mean, but we can't have bad debts either, and we can't just allow people not to pay their bills. And so anyway, we've changed that a little bit recently. Stephanie was instrumental in getting, we need to have, actually a landlord needs to come in and sign paperwork stating they want that water turned off if they have an agreement. And we try to work with landlords, and some landlords want to have the utility bills in their name, so they have total control. And some landlords don't want to have anything to do with it. They want the tenant to take care of that bill. And we try to work as a city both ways. Well, this particular instance did not work out well for Donna because there's $544.66 left unpaid. And since she isn't here to speak for herself, I'm just giving you the quick laydown on how it turned out that she did have an issue. So what's the council's wishes? What do we need to do to resolve this dilemma? We have changed our policies here where we require the landlord to come in and sign. If worst case scenario, no one pays this, it will go back to the taxes on the property, so the landlord would be responsible anyway. And that's where we're at. So any comments from the council
I could just
in this
see that,
scenario?
you know, that somehow the city should keep the owner, of what situation is going on, so they know, you know, that this is what's happening. If it don't get paid, it's gonna revert back to them. And I know as they had payment, that they were like a month behind every time, I think, or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
we're trying to make payments, you know, and like you said, that's kind of a health risk to shut somebody's water off. That's,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's a responsibility of the owner also. And I don't know if it's a lack of communication between the owner and the renter also that kind of got to the point where it did. But I don't know what the fix would be, just more communication between the owner and the renter and the city of Pipestone.
Yeah. And I think we're doing our share where we do have a specific form available now. And my take is, you know, originally it's a landlord-tenant agreement. Well, we aren't involved with it at all. It's a landlord-tenant thing. And if it works out well, that landlord doesn't come in and share the profits with the city. And if it doesn't work out well, why should the city be responsible? And when I say the city, what I mean is everyone, all the taxpayers. Why should they be responsible for an agreement that private parties had made and it didn't turn out well? It didn't follow through. So I guess, you know, I would follow staff's recommendation, and at this point, I think we're doing things correctly. It's for information at this time to the council, and unless you want to see something changed differently, let us know. But I think we've got a good system in place and continue to operate the way we are operating.
With regards to this bill, we do still send that past renter and Donna a notice every month trying to collect on that amount. Just, it is city code that if nobody pays on it come October, we'll send them notice that we're gonna assess it to the property.
So they will know that.
Yeah.
Does it have to wait that long?
To assess on taxes, yeah.
And I'm sure we're obligated, there's statutes I'm sure that we need to follow. And it's just like, you just can't, someone's a day late on a bill, you can't shut their water off, boom, you know. You have to give them that 30-day notice and.
Yeah, we can't send notice of past due until they're 30 days.
Okay, so then that's the first notice. And then what's the next step after that?
So once they get that notice, they'll have 15, 20 days to either come in, pay off what they owe that's past due, or make a payment arrangement with us. Or they might pay part of it and make a payment arrangement for the rest. And at that point, we'll try to work with them on the bill.
Okay,
But if they don't pay it, you know, that's when they get shut off. Where this situation, it just happened to be they were past due and then they moved out, so they had extra on top of that. So that's why it got to be $500.
And just because of the way we have to follow procedure, you can get behind by a month and a half, 2 months quite quickly. And there we go with the bill, so. I see Donna has just entered the room. Donna, do you have any comments? We're talking about your issue with the city and the water bill. Would you have any comments for the council?
Well, yeah, I don't think it's fair that.
If you want to come up to the podium and talk directly to the council, we certainly give you that opportunity.
I don't believe that was.
Okay, well,
Like I said, I called down there and I asked them to shut it off. And this is before I even knew this, there was a policy. I could have came down and signed a sheet of paper saying shut it off. I was not informed of that.
well, I don't think we had that policy at that time, Donna. This is something that we've tightened up just recently. So, yeah, it wasn't a good system, but it was the only system we had. And it boils down to, like I said earlier before you came in, this is an agreement with two private parties, yourself and your tenant. And we kind of get put in the middle as a city with providing utilities. But the taxpayers, the city of Pipestone, should not be responsible for an agreement between two private parties that goes sour.
An agreement between them and you.
Well, you were the one that rented them the property.
Where's the deposit?
You rented them the property, correct? So you are the beginning of the agreement.
And they knew that we were trying to get them out of there, but
Yep.
they would not answer their phone. They would not
Okay.
respond to anything.
Yeah, I know, it's a,
Cops were in there and they were supposed to go back and they never did.
okay. So the deposit, I'm assuming the city has,
Yep, that was credited back to the bill.
and that covers how much?
That was $120.95 that was returned back on the bill.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to ask you, Donna, what is your opinion on what is fair for the taxpayers of the citizens of Pipestone and your dilemma that you have here with the bill of $544.66?
City is about halfway too.
You're saying halfway? Are you saying you're responsible for 50% of it only?
Like I said, I tried to get it shut off.
Yeah, well, I think in any situation where, in my experience anyway, where there is a conflict, where there is something, where someone is injured or whatever, it's never 100% someone's fault. And so I'm glad to hear that you're saying that, yes, I'm 50% responsible. I don't think the city's 50% responsible though. But I could see where if it was something like an 80-20 split, if you were interested in that, that's maybe something the council might be interested in.
I even notified them where they moved to.
Yeah, well, that wasn't hard
Not
to,
about that either.
right. Well, we can't because they're under a different scenario totally, where they don't have utility bills in their name. So we can't do anything with that. But to me, I think if we can collect on a bad debt, and this is something that needs to be collected, we're not a bank. There's 3 banks in this community if you need their use. But I think that this should be paid off, and if we could come up with some type of an agreement of an 80-20 split where you're responsible for 80% of it and the city is responsible for 20% of it, because at that time there wasn't the system that we have now. And yeah, information got missed or something, because when you said you wanted it turned off, that should have been turned off in my eyes. But when you have people that are paying, that's a tenant.
Gracious, I don't know. Come on now, Dan.
Well, I think we're already at 2 months by the time you got notices. And 2 months, you can have $150, $300 worth of bills real fast. So I'm just guessing that because I don't know what the water use was, but the final numbers were 544.66. And if you're interested in paying the city of that, 80% of that, I think that would be acceptable to me, but I want to leave, it's up to the entire council, so.
I don't know. I mean, I'd be willing to negotiate, but I don't know if we make that decision tonight, can we?
Why not?
It's on the agenda. It's,
That's what we're here for, to make
I'm
decisions.
just asking if we can, no,
Yeah,
we will. And if we can, you know,
I have a question on your new policy. When they're 30 days delinquent, you send a note out. Does it go to just the renter or does it go to the homeowner too?
it goes to both.
Okay,
And that's why Donna, I think, called in, was because she got that notice as well.
yeah.
And I believe the reason why we told her we wouldn't turn it off was, one, because they had an agreement in place.
And they were keeping to that agreement. They were making those payments on time that they had promised to pay.
Okay.
Right.
At
And
that
then
time.
the second reason was because we've had property owners call in before wanting us to turn off renters, and we have. Well, then that $35 on, $35 off fee gets put on the renter's bill, and that's not really fair for the renter to have to pay that fee. So that's why we never had, we just didn't do it.
Yeah.
But then we came up with the idea, if they want to take the responsibility of turning the water off, they need to come in, they need to sign accepting that responsibility and pay that $70 fee so that doesn't become an additional burden on the renter.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's not an easy scenario. And I understand where you're coming from, Donna, when you try to make an agreement with someone and then they don't follow through. And any business, you can't just take bad debts after bad debts. You can't take 100% loss. I think any businessman would agree to that. But if you could collect 80% of your bad debts, I think that's a reasonable offer. And I would make that motion that we would, but I would expect you to pay that 80% right away. We're not going to go 30, 60, 90 days down the road with the
You gotta give me a little bit.
I would like to see the bill get put into Donna's name permanently if possible to keep
From now on, it's,
happening.
they're gonna have to pay their own deposit number. You go after them.
Well, it's not our job to go after, your scenario that turns out to be bad. But I can certainly understand and I appreciate a landlord because we need landlords. We need people need places to rent. But there is a risk there. And sometimes there's profits and sometimes there's loss in any business. So, so I would move that we reduce the bill by 20% and payable in 30 days. Is that acceptable to you, Donna? Okay. I'd entertain a second on that motion.
I'll second that then, if she's accepting that.
Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say no, and motion carries. Well, thank you, Donna, and good luck.
Can I have the final amount right now then? So it doesn't change again?
435.73.
All right. We'll move on to request for council action on disc golf upgrades at Westview Park request. And we'll have some guests present, so I understand we have some guests present. And if you'd like to come up to the podium and introduce yourself, tell us where you live, just for the record, and tell us what you got in mind.
Well, I live in Pipestone here.
Bruce Sadler, also Pipestone here.
Yeah, so we play out there on the course out there a lot, and we do see some people out there. And we've noticed, it could use some upgrades out there and some better signage, and we came up with this proposal that we turned in there. I don't know how many of you guys seen it, but
Yes, we did.
yeah, and we feel it could bring a lot more people to the town here if they knew that there's a course here for one, and it being updated a little better and the signage better out there.
The course as is, there's certain parts that are kind of just run down too, and just overall, I think it makes the park look better. Like,
Okay.
fix it up.
Well, just what I can remember of that course, I believe it was in the mid-90s that we had an individual come in that was very interested in disc golf. And through our Park and Recreation Department at that time, they were able to put together a nice course out there. But to my knowledge, and I'm not on Park and Rec Commission anymore, but I don't remember anybody talking about any upgrades to that in probably the last 35 years then.
Just last week.
Yeah.
Just last week.
And so maybe it's due to be upgraded a little bit. I certainly like your idea of promoting it because, yeah, we want people to know what we have available. And we've got some wonderful parks in our community. And there's a lot of different recreation available in our community. And this is just one of them. And we want to make sure people know it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, great idea. As far as updating it, there are some grants available, and Pete would be the guy to talk to as far as upgrading. And I think we can direct him. He's our Park and Recreations Director, and see if we can't get this going for you, get it updated. So
I have one question, if I can. When you're talking about course maps, are you talking like printed maps that'd be like at the chamber? Or are you talking like online maps that people will be able to find online on the city's website? I just see that was one of the line items.
So the map we're talking it'd be a course map that would be out at the park.
Like at the start of the park,
Right.
maybe, yeah.
And then also on every tee pad for the hole, there'd be a sign.
Kind of like a golf course going to the next green or the next.
Yeah.
Okay, I've never played, so that's why.
But there could be what's available.
Why, that's why I was wondering if it's, be something more, like up at the chamber conference, say, hey, we got this, people are asking, what can we do around town, or maybe at the hotels or something like that.
We want to, the A's are very interested in, us getting some tournaments set up as well.
Partnering
with us.
yeah, that would be great, I think, in the long run.
Chairman out there with a disc golf, they'd be serving, have their concessions open, and they want to bring more attention to their team as well. So,
These courses, these signs for each hole and at the beginning, out at the country club, there's a sign there for Pipestone Publishing for hole number 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
Would there be people willing to sponsor a hole?
Well, it's possible. We haven't asked anyone yet.
It is definitely possible.
Well, here's my take on it. Let's turn it over to our Park and Recreations Director. Sounds like the council's behind upgrading it. It's due. And let him apply for some grants and see what's available. Because if we can get grants for something like this, and it sounds like he's got some ideas that it's possible, and we'll get it updated and there won't be an expense to the taxpayers, and we'll have a nice facility for everyone to use.
Yeah.
And I like that idea of having, because, when you go to a golf course, the first thing you want to do is look and see, well, how is this set up? Okay, this is what I need to be doing. And you don't have signs like that out there. How do you know? You just look and, okay.
Signs, but a lot of them are missing now.
Really? Okay.
well, as you said, 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's time to update. So Well, thanks for bringing it to our attention.
Yeah.
And we'll get to work on it.
Pretty easy to get it on a couple websites too.
So that's where we actually started noticing there's problems with the courses. The websites that the normal players go to, they would notice what you were just talking about, where you couldn't figure out where the next thing is or whatnot. So
The next
Okay.
goal.
that's so we'd update the stuff on the other websites too. But basically, it's,
Well, coordinate with Stephanie and,
For the city website?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Do we need to, let's see, do we need to have a motion on that upgrade?
I don't believe so, not at this time.
Direct.
Direction.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Okay. Next up is Resolution 2026-11, and this is a resolution regarding the applicant for authorization for exemption from the lawful gambling license. And it would be for the Pipestone Sportsman's Club to hold a raffle on May 8th at the Pipestone National Armory. And this is something we've done in the past, so I would recommend we move ahead with this.
I move we do resolution 2026-11.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no, and motion carries. Resolution 2026-12, and this resolution is approving the summary publication of ordinance 171 4th series that was approved earlier this evening, and simply put, it's costs too much to publish the entire ordinance, and so we do abbreviated version. We've done that in the past, and it's legal to do that. So entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Motion carries. Approval of our 1, 5, and 10-year city plan, and we've met in January and February and had our planning discussions. Came up with a good plan. I was very pleased with the council and how we met most of our one-year plans in 2025. And so we've got 2026 ahead of us, and we've got some good goals that have been drafted, and I think hopefully we can get through those just like we did in 2025. So entertain a motion to approve the 1, 5, and 10-year city plan.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no, and motion carries. The E-Word gymnasium floor, and we've known that that's been kind of an issue for a while. And we've had some rough estimates on replacement of that floor. And I guess we need to give direction to the rec department and our recreation director, Robert Peterson, to see what the council's wishes are in this. So.
I would move that he would move to get a new estimates on what a new floor would do.
Yeah. It looks like what they'd like to do is have council approval for, and then a planning session with the Park and Rec Commission and probably Stephanie and Pete and come up with a plan and then come back to us with what type of floor they want to put in. There.
With that, I don't know if you want to add that to your
Final
Yeah.
approval.
your motion, I would approve that
Okay.
then with that verbiage added to it.
I would move that we do the rec board to do a planning session and bring it to council.
Yeah, give them authority to research it, find out what floors are available, what they cost, come back to the council for final approval, and you second to that, Roger?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say no. Motion carries. Hiawatha Pageant Park Trail. And recently, the city received federal land access program. It's a FLAP grant, they call it, for construction of phase 1 of the Hiawatha Pageant Trail project that is being coordinated with the National Park Service. And we do have a updated map here that shows where that trail is proposed to be. And the Hiawatha Pageant Park Commission definitely needs to be a part of this discussion. And this is a trail that will take off from Hiawatha, North Hiawatha Avenue, and go to the west and connect in with a trail that's going to be at the Pipestone National Monument, and then also go back down to the south and west and go through the Pageant Park area. So this is preliminary. The exact route will be discussed with the Pageant Park and the council, and I hope we can move ahead on that because I think it's a win-win for everyone. It updates the park a little bit and it helps with the National Monument, being a good neighbor there. And I think it's going to be a wonderful recreational area it enhances the recreational area for the citizens of Pipestone. So we would need a motion. This was not a budgeted expense, but we have to have an environmental review and a land survey by our engineer. And then Travis, correct me if I'm wrong, that's estimated cost is about $100,000 for that. And then additional $15,000 for an environmental review study too? Or was that $15,000 for the entire trail system?
That would be the additional cost to do the entire trail out to Playmore Curves, so that would include the future phases. It's going through the same paperwork, just expanding the research area. So it's a pretty small increase to do that extra that would open us up for better positioning for grants down the road too.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And I failed to mention this, but this flap grant is for 980.
I think 989.
89. Very, very close to $1 million. So we're very fortunate to be able to get this flap grant. And yeah, we have put a little skin in the game here with engineering fees. But I think in the long run, it's going to be well worth it.
Okay, for clarification, the 100,000 is just to go through the Pageant Park. And for the additional 15,000, you're going to add that all going west. And how about this? Going
Yes.
south.
Yeah, that we can get clearance on, I'll say the whole thing there.
That ties in the proposed Veterans Memorial area too.
That's just what I meant. Yeah, I didn't word it that way, but I guess I showed him on the map.
The biggest area of concern is when over here by where it goes west of the park, that's where some perceived wetlands could be at. So it's going to be more field work.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
And eventually this would all tie in with the park around, or the trail around Indian Lakes that comes back around through Minnesota West area and really connects everything up nicely. So, yeah. Okay, well, I'd entertain a motion then.
Okay. One other question.
Yeah.
The 100,000, I mean, it's not budgeted. Where are we going to find that? I guess, or where is that coming from?
So my recommendation would be to take it from reserve funds out of either the general fund or the liquor store fund. So if there's any left over in the street budget, we can utilize that money, but the remainder that we might need would probably come from the general fund.
So basically, it's about 10% of a project that we're paying for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, when we talked about it through the planning session, that was one of the council's high priority was to try to continue and get that trail done. So.
And the schedule for it, it's this year, go through the environmental paperwork, and get that clearance, and then, proceed. We'll actually be looking at some other grant opportunities this fall to try to expand on it. Design will be next year, and then construction in 2028.
Is there a possibility we could get some of that back on?
I think, well, I'm going to say probably not on this fund, but I'm hoping that we can expand on it and, make this a more complete trail project using some state funds. State funds partner well with federal funds, so.
Okay. Yeah, I'd hate to see money come out of the street department at all, but the profits from the liquor store have always funded community development.
Sure.
And I know there's a limit, and this is a large amount of money, but 10 cents on the dollar, I think that's a bargain for what we're getting, so.
Because if we don't do it, we aren't going to be able to continue with the FLAP grant.
Correct, we lose that, we give that away.
Right.
And once you give a grant away, it makes it more difficult to get those types of grants again, I'm assuming, because a lot of time and effort went into getting that grant.
Yeah, that was a good partnership with Justin, city staff, myself, the National Park Service helped out. So it was a joint application. I think that partnership is what's going to continue to make this a good project to keep getting more grant funds as we go forward.
Okay. And let's make sure that representatives from the Hiawassee Patrick Park Commission are also involved with this.
Yep.
Good. Okay. All right. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the.
I'll second.
Motion on the floor. It has been seconded. Any other questions, discussion?
That's for the 115,000.
Yes.
Okay.
For the R15, I'll clarify that.
Okay.
So.
All right. Thank you. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say no, and motion carries. Next up is the City Hall roof, and we've been talking about that for quite some time too. But yeah, this building has some issues, and there hasn't been any updates to it. I'm assuming this building was put together in the 60s, probably late 60s. And it definitely needs some roof issues, needs some updates on windows. It's something we talked about in our planning session. And this would be the first step, is to have city council, or city staff, I should say, get some estimates together and see what's available, see what we can do with this building. Maybe we'll find out that we can't do much with it, and maybe we'll find out we can. We don't know till you start looking at it, but we do have funding available. We have $52,000 set aside for the roof on this. And then another $39,000 was set up for replacement of carpeting and flooring in the building that could almost be used for it too. But those are all steps that we would get to once we find out what we're talking about, because we need to have this building looked at with an architect or engineer or something, and address what it needs and the costs, and then go from there, make a decision. So I'd entertain a motion to have staff move ahead with that project.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say no, and motion carries. We need to consider an amendment to our personnel policy, and with approval of ordinance 171 4th series, the personnel committee is requesting amendments to be made to the city council, the city personnel policy with regards to employee evaluations. And in addition to a personnel committee is recommending changes be made to the city's vehicle use policy and leave accrual policy. City administration is also requesting the addition of language in the policy to address remote work. The policy amendments have been provided to the council in your packet. And if you have any questions on those, or I'd entertain a motion. We discussed this with the personnel committee and 3 department heads, and I'll bet we talked for 2.5 hours on what we could do to make things work a little better and a little easier. And I think Stephanie's come up with some great ideas, and the department heads also have. And so I would like to see us move ahead with this.
One thing I did want to mention, back late 2023, the council did make a motion to stop having city employees take home vehicles that lived outside of the city limits. Through our discussion with the personnel policy, we had felt that it would be adequate to leave that decision up to the department head and myself. And basically, if a department head felt that their staff person needed to take it home due to being on call, they could do that. So within this new policy or the amendments in this policy, it does state that that it's up to the department head and city administrator to decide if it's okay. And if they do decide it's okay, that has to be within the city or the Pipestone County limits. So
Not response time within the county.
not response time.
They have to
We
live,
left it
they have
within,
to live within the county if they're gonna take it home.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And when you start talking about on-call and expecting people to respond, you know, to on-call scenarios on their, what would be their time off, I think it's fair to have use of that vehicle that they have during their work hours also. So to me, it's not unreasonable. And one thing I learned with these discussions is that, you know, we have staff that are monitoring city utilities 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. These pump stations, and they have to be checked every day. And that's 365 a year. And yeah, just imagine if one of those pump stations failed and nobody knew about it for a couple of days, and you walk down in your basement and find a nice little surprise. Nobody would want to have that in their home. So the staff that we have is very dedicated, and we've got some very well experienced department heads, and this is their recommendation, and so I'm in favor of it. I think it's a good idea. So I'd entertain a motion to approve this amendment.
I approve this amendment.
Second.
Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say no, and motion carries. That brings us to closing comments. Does anybody have any closing comments?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Verdine.
Pipestone Area School has started a mentor program, and it's helped some of the students out there, and they could use some more individuals stepping up to. They say they have a lot of students that still need to be paired up with somebody. So if you have a half hour time during the week, you can dedicate, go out and check with Principal Ortman, and she can fill you in on exactly what the program is about. I'm doing it myself, and I'm learning more. I think the kid is.
What age group are the kids?
Well, mine is 8th grader.
Okay.
I think most of them are middle school,
All right. Okay.
but principal can tell you more about that than I can.
Yeah. Yeah. Good way to spend your time.
Yeah.
Helping kids. Nothing wrong with that.
You said that was President Wortman?
Yeah.
Principal Hortman.
Principal Hartman.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other closing comments? Thank you, Verdine.
Since we won't have another council meeting before the ambulance chili feed, that's next Saturday, February 28th. So
Okay.
What time you start?
we start at 4:30 and run till 7.
And that's drive-through only again?
We're only at the ambulance building. Yeah.
And that's chili and
Chicken noodle soup.
the best.
Yes.
The best chicken noodle you can get. Okay.
Yours truly. So
Okay. All right. Okay. Any other closing comments? If none, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
I so move.
second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say no, and motion carries.